David's sin and Nathan's rebuke, 2 Samuel 11 and 12. This is the darkest hour in David's life in terms of he commits a sin of adultery and then with premeditated murder. It's a horrible thing that's going on. What is happening here is that God is not afraid to reveal the sin of his famous servants. And he wants all the people of God through history to know that. If he will reveal David's sin, he will reveal anybody's sin. Because David was one of the most famous examples of holiness and purity through all of the history of the people of God, redemptive history. Let's say it that way. And if God is not afraid to taint his reputation by one of his top people being exposed, because Bathsheba didn't tell on David. Nobody, it's not like somebody got mad. It's not like the scorned lover leaked it and then brought the person down. It's not that kind of thing. God brought it up through Nathan the prophet. And the Lord's saying, I'm not afraid. I am so secure and so sure about my reputation. I care about my holiness and my reputation equally. And I will not overlook holiness just to uphold my reputation. Because God cannot suspend one attribute to exercise another. He cares intensely about holiness. And if his most famous servant in history, I don't know if besides Jesus and Paul, who would be equal to David as a picture of godliness. There's more about David than any other person in the Bible besides Jesus. And he is that example. So God's not afraid to do it. These different televangelists, which I say with sorrow in my heart. I don't just whip off their example with callously. Those are real people that fell and were judged before nations, and that's real brothers in the body of Christ. But if the Lord would do it to these men that spoke to hundreds of millions, at least potential audience, we found out in the papers that years ago that Swaggart had a 500 million people a day potential audience. No person in history has even touched a third of that. Way, way beyond anything Billy Graham has ever touched in terms of numerics. The people, the quantity. And the Lord said, I am not at all intimidated to bring righteousness and holiness, even if my name is blasphemed amongst the nations. So it's terrifying. If God will do this to David, nobody is too important. Nobody is so big that God's kingdom is going to unravel if there's a sin in their life exposed.